Hi there, people. How is it going?
Hello, Twe.
I was waiting for Anu to
I
say
couldn't I
hello, and
couldn't
I was
help
just
with
looking at
the
me.
hello Twe.
Yeah, peeps. How is it going? Hope you guys are doing well. Actually, I've been thinking with Anu for what name we should refer to our audience as. So, some podcasts say boys and girls, some people say saints and saints, some people say
Family
hi,
members.
family members. So, what should it be? You guys tell us what you would like to be called. Yeah, let us know. But in the meantime, it will be peeps or
Eh,
people.
Happy New Month.
I'm so excited to enter into March. I just feel like when we enter March, March is the last month of the quarter, of the first quarter of the year.
Yeah.
It just feels like now we're in the grind. Now things are moving.
Mm-hmm.
And especially relating to the weather, once we enter March, it feels very refreshing because the weather is much better and it is very nice to have a good weather, a weather that is not cold. It gives energy, it makes you excited. The sun is out, people are happy. The sun is inside, people are sad. So you can imagine when we see people on the road very excited, it's a thing of joy. Anyway, I'm just happy to be inside this new month of March. So there goes my excitement.
Yep.
All right, babe. So, in the past few weeks, I've had more time on my hands, and because of that, I remember a friend of mine was asking me, "So, how do you pass time? Are you always bored?" And that was a very good question because I thought to myself, boredom. I don't get bored easily, to be very fair, because I know how to entertain myself. Now, let's talk about what the entertainment could mean.
Yeah.
For a lot of us, entertainment is going on the phone and scrolling, and all that. So let me first ask you, Anu, when was the last time that you actually stood in a queue without checking your phone? Do you remember?
And by myself, because I remember standing on the queue, but I was with someone, so I was chatting with the person, so I didn't need to bring out my phone. And that was maybe like last week.
By yourself then?
By myself, can't remember when last. It's almost like default.
It's a default thing, right? I think we're so used to not wanting to be bored. So we are constantly on our phones because that's the quickest thing. The phone is portable, it's handy. You just bring it out, and even when you don't have any message from somebody, you just act like you've received something and just
Yeah. Or
I
just
remember
just go to Instagram and be dumb
I'll be
scrolling.
scrolling. Oh, and do you remember that there was a time that Instagram algorithm was not as stimulating?
Yeah, because you could only see information about people that you were following.
Yes.
And so you could actually get to the end
Yes.
and you know that you have said everything.
Yes.
But now,
If you're following maybe 20 people,
yes,
it's only 20 people
and
and
that's
maybe
it.
only 10 people have posted
Posted,
in
and
the
that's
last,
it.
that's it. But now,
They now created Explore
even without Explore, baby, now on your home
page.
page,
You're seeing,
you're not just seeing people that you follow, but people who are following those you follow. Something very
and it's
weird.
endless.
It's
Like you can keep scrolling till tomorrow and you won't get to the, it's like a bottomless pit.
Yeah, so we're talking about boredom today. We're talking about doom scrolling. We're talking about how difficult it is for us to be still and
Yes.
enjoy our own company. Moving on, when was the last time you sat in silence for 10 minutes? I'm not even saying 1 hour. I'm not even saying 30. I'm not even saying 25. 10. In fact, let's do 5.
Today.
Just by yourself.
Yeah.
That you were not working. You
No.
just sat down
Yes.
for 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
I remember you talked about it yesterday. If you notice. Yeah, so today.
So today,
Mm-hmm.
okay, what were you doing? You just sat down,
Yeah,
and how was
just
that experience for you?
it was good because I was tracking my thoughts, where my mind was going. So I was on the dining and I sat down and I was just thinking. And so in between, I was thanking God when I thought about something that I'm like, God, thank you for this. And then after that, my mind went to another person that I wanted to pray for, Yeah, so but while I was in it, I was just watching my mind just go from one topic to another topic, and I'm like, okay. And then in between, I'm like, okay,
Was there
this
any
is
weird,
this is a good.
random, like so random that you're like, where is this thought coming from? This
No,
is okay.
no.
Yeah, I need to do that activity. Since I already let the cat out of the bag. Yeah, we spoke about it recently, and for me, I find it challenging to just sit
Not just you.
and be still for a while. So for me, I was telling Anu that the first step is awareness.
Yeah. But before you even talk about that, I have some questions for you.
Okay.
When was the last time you had a meal without using your phone, like, or without watching the TV?
Today.
All of this is just because of our recent conversation.
Not
Or you possibly
not really,
working on it.
because I'm more aware of how I find it difficult to be still and focus on one activity. If I'm eating, normally I'm using my phone. It just feels like eating is something that must be done with another activity.
Yeah.
You should be watching TV, just, enjoying the meal or scrolling or listening to music or just something. But recently, I've been trying to track myself and just be in the here and now. If it's food, let me just enjoy the food and sit down with the food and be looking at it. And of course, because of how stimulated
Yeah.
we are, my thoughts can be like, in a minute, I can run through at least more than 10 thoughts, different, so random, so apart. And I'm just like, this is quite fascinating.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I feel like things have changed over the years. It wasn't always like this. I mean, in our generation, there was a time that phones were Nokia brand or Sajem that did not have social media.
Yes.
What it had was just text, that the button for you to even for you to write a text.
You have to do
ABC
AABC
ABC is on one
on number
one
two.
button,
Yes,
DEF is on
DEF.
another button. So if you want to type a, I don't know, like 3-line message, you first spend a couple of minutes pressing just to get to the point that you're driving at. And now moving from then to now that your phone is so advanced, like you can video call, you can be on so many apps, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and they are so similar. Now on each app, you have bite-sized shorts, snippet, funny videos, or I don't know, like it just feels like a lot. So
Yeah.
do you think that our generation is afraid of being still? Why are we so stimulated? Why are we so quick to bring out our phones and just chum 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 at every, in fact, for some of us, we could even be having a conversation.
Yeah.
We cannot even stay in that conversation for 10
For
minutes.
bringing out our
We're
phones.
bringing out the phone after 2 minutes max just to scroll. What is that about?
I think there's a lot of research that have been done, and I think people are still doing it about the reality of the effects, and I would say the negative effect of social media, the rise in technology on the psyche of people, especially not just people, but even more young people. And in one of those research, the finding was that the rise in technology and the dawn of the social media has led to overstimulation, like increased dopamine, not even in a full dose, like mini dopamine. So people now are like tuned into social media or with their phone because of those little dopamine hits that they're looking for. And it becomes very addictive. It's very similar to the reason why people smoke. There is an addictive component in cigarettes that makes people always want to smoke. And the research likened it to what people are actually experiencing right now with social media and with their phones. And it's almost like an addiction. It's even almost like a disorder where in this generation people are now addicted to the dopamine. People are addicted to the idea of just scrolling and seeing something new that makes them laugh, that entertains, that excites them. And it's like you put your phone down for 5 seconds. And what I'm saying is something that I also struggle with in my own way. You put your phone down for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, you're already looking for your phone.
Where is it?
Where's my phone? It's almost like they took a part of you away and you're like, I can't lose myself. So it's almost like your phone is an extension of yourself. And the moment you don't find your phone, you are already becoming, anxious. Where's my phone? Where's my phone? Where's my phone? Where's my phone? And you're addicted to it. So it's a real issue. So it's not like people are afraid of being still, or I don't even think people are even, they don't have being still in their mind, or it's just the addiction of this age. And also because we live in an economy that is driven by attention. That's the commodity now. The commodity is attention. What can grab your attention? What can sustain your attention? And if you look at how the algorithm of most of the social media is built, that's their idea. That's the whole idea of the platforms. They want to find different ways to make sure that they get your attention and they keep you there. They keep your attention there fixed. So you just get into that. Like I said, it's like a bottomless pit. You never get to the end of it. You just keep going and going and going and going. And then the algorithm notices that, oh, this picture, you were there for 2 seconds more than the other picture. Then they figure out like, oh, she likes this kind of pictures.
Let's serve her
Then
more.
they serve you more of those pictures. And then the moment you spend 5 minutes or 5 seconds more in another set of pictures, you just notice. That's why sometimes you just come to your phone and you realize that I was thinking about this. For example, let's say you were thinking about getting an iPhone 11, and you just searched for iPhone 11, or you might not even have searched. You might just be going on the phone and you see somebody on your Instagram and you see someone advertise iPhone 11. Then what happens is that you spend some time looking at it, right? And maybe you read some comments, and then you come back the next day and all that you are seeing is iPhone 11. All you are seeing is iPhone 11 or iPhone 14. They've hacked that algorithm to make sure that you are hacked on this. And it is
But
something.
it's crazy though that it's the addiction to social media is as it's not on the same level, but it's about dopamine.
Yeah.
Right? And people get dopamine from drugs, people get dopamine from nicotine, so cigarettes, from alcohol, and it's in the same way that people get dopamine from scrolling.
Yeah.
From using social media. Wow. For me, that's mind blowing. You know what I've also found about myself in this whole just being aware about this whole problem? I find it difficult to actually focus on long form content now. Once it is already more than a few seconds, I'm like,
It's too long.
please get to your point. Like, why are you taking me on this journey? I can't even, all these people that do Instagram live, I'm like, sorry,
I'll come and sit
please
down
give
there.
us summary. But I think I'm just imagining what it's doing to our brain, what it's doing to the neural connections, and how much our brain is changing to adapt to this new style of consumption. By the way, I feel like we're even consuming more than we should. There's just overload of content. An easy example is email. I just open my email, plus the one that I subscribe to, the one that I did not subscribe to, everybody is sending me newsletter on different topics. Which content am I going to consume that will help me? It's hard. So let's move to the important aspect of what could potentially happen in our faith. As you guys know, we are believers, we're Jesus people, so we have to talk about it. We have to talk about how people say they don't hear God, but how are we going to hear God when we are constantly
Hearing every other thing.
hearing every other thing? So do you feel like a lot of us are more distant spiritually because of this constant distraction? And how do you think we can deal with this?
Yes, I believe our dependence on social media and the distraction that we are all faced with on a daily basis with our phone definitely impacts, or I would say creates, that gulf between our perception of what God is saying or what God is saying to us, to our reality. So I would say that we need to practice fasting, and this time of fasting, it is not fasting from food, but it's a common knowledge now that there's something called fasting from social media or fasting from your phone. So sometimes some people just because they want to have time to hear from God and to focus, they basically delete their apps for, it could be like a week, it could be 2 weeks, depending. So imagine on your phone you delete the app that you know that is your problem. So for example, let's say is Instagram, some people is it's WhatsApp, some people is TikTok, and you take that time to just detox yourself, make a fast, definitely can help you. Also with the phone, I think the awareness part, right, is so important. So when you know that you are you're trying to get yourself rid of having to touch your phone and read something and watch something, so you can just put your phone and put it in a different room or in a different place, so there is no way you can touch the phone. There's nothing, like, even if you're looking for the phone is somewhere else. That can also help you to focus on God and to hear him. And Jesus also did something similar, although Jesus didn't have to battle with his phone, but he had to battle with people, like actual people who
Yeah.
were constantly in demand of his time and wanted his attention. Because it's still the same principle. It's someone is trying to get your attention and you're trying to fight for that time. You're trying to fight for your attention. So Jesus, when he realized that he needed to spend more time with God, with his Father, the Bible would say he withdrew himself. He went to a separate mountain. He went to a separate place to spend time with God. Sometimes he would go in the middle of the night. Sometimes he would wake up earlier in the day, so that he can spend time with God, and then he can come and face whatever he had to face during the day. So, like, practicing solitude is, it's always great, where you can just take some time out. It might just be okay, 1 hour in a day. You're not on your phone, you're not on social media, and that 1 hour you're just spending it with whosoever, or with, so in this case, with God. The same thing has to be practiced with your spouse or your partner. I remember in recent times, you're like, okay, it's almost like we had built a behavioral pattern where anytime we want to eat something, we just feel like we need to watch something, like watch the TV anytime we're eating. And that takes away the opportunity for us to actually speak to each other, right, and commune and enjoy the food while we are enjoying our
Company.
company. But what happens is, now you start watching TV, and when you start watching TV, it just takes away that time for communion. So yeah, these all of these things definitely impact our time with God and our ability to hear from him. And if our ears are constantly busy, then we don't have time to hear from
From
God.
God. Yeah. Honestly, it's a clarion call. Very important wake up call for me, actually. And I don't know, yeah. For me, I will always speak for myself. And I've tried the social media fast before. What I find super annoying though is I cannot delete my WhatsApp for now because it's not backed up. And they know.
But something you can do with WhatsApp, if you don't want, is that you can turn off the Wi-Fi or the mobile for WhatsApp. So even though the app is there, you're not getting anything new. You're not getting any message, and so you can hide the app somewhere. So because if not, you'll be getting notification, right?
Yes, I even turned off my
Mm-hmm.
notifications on WhatsApp, Instagram. Like, notifications on my apps are turned off. I think the only one that I get is iMessage for the most part. I need to double check that. But generally, I have seen how notifications can distract, so I tend to usually turn off my notifications. Maybe I'll try the WhatsApp hack. But I think that in general, just that thought that deleting it, as long as you have App Store, it's just a matter of going to App Store and re-downloading it. And so also, I feel like these apps, they know now that people want to get away from their apps, so they have made it more challenging. Let me give you an example. Instagram. So with Instagram, I would be logged into my account, for example, and also my company's account as a social media manager, what not. If I say I want to log out of my own personal account, it will tell me that you will log out of all
All the
accounts.
accounts.
So it adds one layer of complexity, making it more challenging. Then when you think about it and you're like, two-factor authentication, you when you want to log in, you have to do that, you have to do this, you have to do that. It's so challenging. And people are just like, you know what, let me just, because I know a lot of people who have multiple accounts and you just want to log out of one. But I don't know why they can't tell me that they are not smart enough to come up with a technology that logs you out of the account that you're currently on. They've done it in a way that they have merged all the accounts,
Accounts.
that if you log out of one, you log out of all. So that is one way to keep people on the app.
Yeah.
Let's leave Instagram. At least Instagram you can temporarily deactivate. I don't know if I mean the last time my personal account is temporarily deactivated. It's been deactivated for the past 2 years now, and trust me, I don't even think I'm going back to that my personal Instagram. Like I know what social media can do to me, so I'm very mindful. For LinkedIn, which is Instagram for professionals. That's another level. Maybe I'm digressing a little bit, but my example is on LinkedIn. You cannot even deactivate temporarily. You have to delete the whole app if you want to go away from it. So in the end, the only thing you can do is to just delete the app from your phone, but you have App Store, so you can always go back. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that it takes a lot of discipline to actually do this social media fast. Good luck to you if that's what you have to do. I think it's possible, but you're gonna have to maybe have an accountability partner, someone who is checking on you to say, okay, how far? Day one without social media, how is it going? Day two, day three, day four, so just know yourself and know your tendencies. Okay, so let's talk about the potential benefits of boredom. Do you have any example where by just being still, which is what people refer to as boredom, like you're not doing anything, you're just there, where it's created an idea for you, like your brain was able to come up with an idea and you were like, wow, this is so genius, or this is something that I'm going to implement, and it helped you? Do you have that example?
Yes, I have many examples.
Oh, that's good.
So I realized that my brain wants to make associations because in medicine, the way our brain works is that we have what is called neurons. We have neurons in that. This is what it's called the brain cells, and they work in interconnection with each other. So like they are firing and they are building different networks. So like they are connecting and connecting and connecting. And that's how our brain really wants to function. That's the best way for brain development, when your neurons can build many networks, right? But I realized that when we are consuming more than processing, our brain doesn't have enough time to make those connections because it's just more consumption and consumption and consumption. But this is what I've noticed that works for me. It starts with having a question in my mind. So it can either be a question I'm trying to solve, or a question I'm trying to answer, or a problem I'm trying to solve, or something I'm trying to build, or a vision I'm trying to accomplish. And because there is already that purpose or that question in my subconscious, one of the best places I get ideas is the bedroom, when I'm under the shower, because at least to the glory of God, I don't go with my phone to the bedroom to shower. On the other side one, I can go with my phone, but when I'm under the shower, I'm by myself. So my brain can process, can think about things, especially with the power of water, right? And then I come up with ideas. Some things I want to do in the day, I kind of have clarity of how I want to do it. Some things I've been thinking about, And also, I remember there was a time I was also trying to come up with some ideas, and just walking on the streets and seeing things around, I'm able to make those associations. And I'm like, and this also happens with us, where we were thinking about what topic do we want to record, that would be of, value to our listeners. And because we are in that state where we are looking for ideas and we are searching for topics, even when we are quiet or when we are walking or when we can make those associations. So I said all of that to say that personally, I've seen that I am able to get more ideas when I am still or when I am in motion, wherever the case might be. But it's the premise for that is that there is already a question or something I've put in my subconscious mind, and that my subconscious is kind of already searching for. So people might struggle with stillness if there is nothing, like if there is nothing you're searching for, if you're just there,
Mm.
it's like there's no direction to your thoughts. So that's why you can have like 1 billion thoughts in 10 minutes, and you cannot control it because you're not in control. There's nothing guiding it. So your purpose, your goal, your vision, your question, all those things, they act like a guide during those seemingly boring times, and then your mind can make all those associations. You can think, you can bring out something in the past, and make up something meaningful.
Mm-hmm. No, I really like that point of having a question or something that is central in your mind. What I'm wondering though is how to stir your imagination in a way that it helps you complete that thought process and come out with an outcome. Because the reason I'm asking is what I struggle with when I am still or when I'm not doing anything, like with my phone, I'm just maybe lying down on the bed and just thinking. There are multiple thoughts jumping in and out. And so if I have this one big question that I want to get an answer to, but I have this interruptive thoughts at the same time, how can I bring my mind to center on this thought and finish it? Because I believe that it will not be helpful if I have the idea or the imagination or the thought in my head, but I don't finish the processing and come up with something, a solution, an action that I can take.
Yeah, it depends on, in my opinion, it depends on where you are in the process of production or in the process of implementation. There are some times where you are at the very start, you are at the ideation stage where it's really about you just pondering on different ideas. So you're not necessarily trying to pen down one particular idea. You're just contemplating different things in your mind, which is, it's okay if at that point there is no concrete step, no concrete action you need to take. You're just pondering, you're just rolling thoughts in your mind. So it's you recognizing that I'm at this stage where I'm contemplating different things, right? And there is no conclusion just yet. Then you can move past that stage where now there's like a direction as to what you're trying to do. This, you have some level of clarity. So that level of clarity now becomes the boundary, right, for your thoughts, and it helps to like guide. And then you, at some point, it might be okay, you will have certain level of clarity, and you capturing that thought can be you penning some things down. I do that sometimes. So I'm trying to work on a book. I think about something that I want to add to the book I'm writing. I might not have the time to fully develop that thought at that point in time, but I can capture that thoughts, go to my notepad and just type that thing down. It's not developed, but it's in its seed form, and then I can come back to develop it later, right? So it depends on what stage you are in that process, but it's about you being aware. One of the most beautiful things about being still is actually what I said at the beginning of this episode, where you watch. It's almost like you watch your mind and see how your mind works. It's almost like you're just watching, and okay, you're seeing, okay, your mind is going towards this, and it's like now over time you kind of learn how to practice navigating your thoughts. Like, okay, I can see my mind is going towards this direction, but no, I don't want it to go there. Then you make the shift, and then just practice being present, practice being in the here and now, and practice being in control of your thoughts.
Okay, it's very helpful that you said that there are different stages. So it's just about finding out which stage the thought is
Yeah.
in and then working with what you already have. Okay, as we wrap up, what do you think that we can do as a couple to introduce healthy relationships with boredom?
So we're going to practice. We've started, but we're going to even be more intentional about when we want to have our lunch, dinner, eating time. With the way TV,
Do we just talk?
we just talk,
We
eat and
eat and
talk.
talk. Okay.
That's something I think we can do. We already started. Then when we are having our tete-a-tetes, like our one-on-ones, our dates, nights, and conversation time, we put our phone aside and we talk.
Okay. Maybe I'll add that individually. So this is not as a couple, but rather like you, me, we can introduce our first 15 to 30 minutes of stillness with God in the morning before you do the online devotion on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Because I find that I wake up in the morning and I want to do my devotion with Triumph 30, which is the devotional platform that I use. And the moment I turn on my data, yeah, I'm tempted to check what's new. What did I miss between last night and this morning? And so the first couple of minutes is me stimulating myself in the wrong thing before I even get to YouTube to watch the devotional video.
Yeah.
So maybe for me, adopting this first 15 to 30 minutes of personal devotion where I'm like, good morning, Holy Spirit. Thank you for waking me up, reading a scripture, meditating on that scripture, and saying a little declaration, confession before I
You
then
do a
turn on my
couplet.
phone. I think that would probably be a good idea to implement. And
Yeah.
also prayer without music.
Yes, that too helps. Without a background music, you get to hear yourself. And it makes a difference, definitely.
Yeah. Okie dokie.
Yes,
Any last thoughts?
this has been on my mind since we started this episode, and I want to say that I think it was Joyce Meyer who wrote a book titled The Battlefield of the Mind. And more than ever before, the real battle in this day and age is the battle of the mind. The battle of attention. Everybody and everyone wants to get your attention. So you must realize that your attention is very costly, and pay attention to what you pay attention to. Pay attention to who you pay attention to. So it's going to make a lot of difference. And I'm saying this to myself too. If I'm paying attention to Instagram more than paying attention to the word of God, it's obvious that my life would look like Instagram and not like the word of God.
Clock it.
You'll be saying clock it too.
I don't even know what that. You know that I don't even know the trend. Like I've not seen the actual video with the clock it.
Gen Z.
I've just seen people use it, and I don't know if they're using it right or wrong. But it just felt like a good place to, clock
Clock
it.
it.
All right, peeps. That was it for today.
Yep.
We hope that you have learned that boredom is healthy, can be healthy, and it's nice to actually sit with your thoughts as opposed to always just being busy, in quotes,
Yes.
with social media. If you're on social media, try and create and not just be consuming.
Yep.
And yeah, we hope that you enjoyed the episode. And if you did, you know the drill. Please share the episode, give us a comment, subscribe to our podcast platforms if you're not already subscribed, and spread the word. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, because we're growing and we want you to come along on this journey.
In the words of a very wise man who I follow, you are the only one in your village who has not subscribed. So please
Change it.
change. All right, guys.
Toodles and speak soon.
Speak soon. Ciao.